Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Bruni, and joining me once again for this breaking news edition is Colin
Breaking news.
Mitchell. Colin, we
Hours
both
late.
we both dropped everything we're doing and immediately got on a podcast.
hmm
We just had to do it because part of the reason why this was so important was because we just talked about this fellow
Fellow.
yesterday, 24 hours ago. We were
Yeah.
talking about how important he is going to be, how good he is, all of that stuff. And now he's gone. Var'Keyes Gumms, tight end, has entered the transfer portal.
Yeah.
What? I mean, first day of practice, spring practice was yesterday. Obviously, we have no details as far as why, what happened. Nobody has any details at this moment, but it's very weird timing because he can't even technically enter the portal right now. The second portal window is in May. It's May 1st to May 15th, right? So there was a first portal window after the season that went for 90 days. Then there is a 15, I'm sorry, not 90 days, 45 days. Then
hmm
there's a 15-day portal window at the start of May. And the reason that's in May is so that way players and teams can go through spring, and then the players that want to enter the portal can enter it in May. So for him to leave and enter his name and not finish spring ball,
So not
despite
even
not being
start
able,
it, really.
yeah, it's spring ball just started. Despite all of that, and the fact that he cannot enter the portal until May 1st, this is just really weird to me. I have no words as to what to say to this, but we have to talk about it.
Yeah. Um Outside of the fact that it's a weird time for transferring everything, we already talked about in a couple of podcasts about tight ends is that they don't really have any other tight ends. Christian Lee is the only guy that I think anybody knows. We tried
Yeah.
looking at the roster and it seems like they might be walk-ons. We're not 100% sure, but that's what it looks like. How concerned are you about this position moving forward, or do they even need a tight end with how many receivers we think they have?
Just go five wide. Bring
Yeah.
J.R. Shorter back as a tight end. Remember, he started as tight end, receiver, tight end. We're just gonna keep bringing him back. What we talked about, Jake Roberts went to Baylor,
hmm
right? Asher Alberding went to Cal with Mike Blesh, and now Var'Keyes Gumms enters the portal. Where will Var'Keyes go? I don't know. There's a lot of places that could use tight ends. I mean, heck, LSU could use a tight end. I mean, there's a lot of places that can use tight ends. I feel like tight ends are kind of they're kind of a luxury at this point. It feels like in college football in a lot
Especially
of ways.
receiving tight ends, especially.
Yeah, because it feels like every receiving tight end just ends up being a wide receiver, like in college football. Again,
Yeah.
maybe I'm oversimplifying it. I definitely am, but like that's just the feel I get when I watch college football now. Is a lot. You have a lot of these bigger receivers, kind of like a Jatavian Sanders at Texas, where he's technically a tight end, but good God, he's like 6'6" and just he's huge out there. So that's what makes this such a big loss is like you said, they don't have a lot of other options here. Now they can go to the portal themselves and maybe try to find somebody there. Maybe I don't know how the junior college ranks work, but get creative, something like that. Or you go into the season with a very, very, very small tight end room. And if there's one thing North Texas has had over the past 5 years of Seth Luttrell, it's been tight ends for the most part, right? Like
Yeah.
even when you go back to Kelvin Smith to Jason Pirtle, to now Var'Keyes Gumms and Jake Roberts, they've had tight ends this year. I'm not at this moment they don't have tight ends, so um, that it is concerning.
Or are we, besides the fact of it being Var'Keyes Gumms, are we over amplifying the effect that tight end has in college football?
So you're talking general.
Like because
I
if you lose
think
a tight end, is it
this
really the end of the world?
this is the thing. We have to see what this offense looks like.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
have to see what Eric Morrison wants to do. And Washington State last year, I didn't cover the Pac-12. I didn't cover his team specifically. So I'd have to go back and watch to see how they utilize tight ends. I would imagine at Incarnate Word he didn't have great tight ends to work with. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is where he's gonna have to be creative. You have to figure it out because you still have elite running backs and you still have very good receivers
Mm-hmm.
and you have a good offensive line. So the weapons are there. You just have this kind of hole in your offense to where like you can't go 12 personnel, I don't think. And this is assuming Christian Lee is ready to go. Like ready to go. If Christian Lee is ready to go, you have one tight end.
Yeah.
If not, I don't know how many. I don't know what you do exactly because everybody at least likes having one tight end on the field. So, yeah, the impact of it, I'm maybe it's a good thing that it happened this early so they can maybe try to get ahead of it for the portal. You know, maybe try to find someone in the portal because players that are currently in the portal can go places and
Whatever
commit
they want. Yeah.
wherever they want. It's just the portal. You can't technically enter the portal until May 1st. So that's where they won't see any new names really until May 1st. And that's probably why Var'Keyes did is he probably was like, hey, I'm thinking about entering the portal and I want to get ahead of it and just say, tell the public, like, hey, I'm entering the portal, So that way when I do enter May 1st, then I can commit, join a team, go from there. Now, obviously, this is kind of a new reality of college football. This is nothing new. This has been this way the past 2 years. We experienced this with Katie Davis last year, right? Where Katie Davis looked like he was going to get poached by Ole Miss or Texas A&M, a big school.
Mm-hmm.
Var'Keyes Gumms is going to go P5. He's going to go to a high major school. Like there's nothing around that fact. The problem becomes is if teams are buying him away, right? Like if teams are being like, hey, I don't know how much you're making at North Texas, but
It's
let's
not
just
more
say
than this.
we can multiply that by 5. Like,
Yeah.
They go up with that type of approach. That's where if you're North Texas, you're really, really in a tough position because Katie Davis, I think he said it on was it Sonoy's podcast? He said it somewhere where he was like he kind of like he obviously turned down money to stay at North Texas.
Right.
Like that was the whole thing. He's turned like Ole Miss and A&M. You go look at A&M's last year. You go follow that and their whole mess that they had. They were getting paid. All right, the players were making money. There's no doubt about that. He could have gone to A&M and made some money. So he comes back, but that's not going to be the case all the time, or even
Yeah.
most of the time. If a player gets the opportunity to make their money, they're gonna go. Now, is it tampering? Is it illegal contact? Probably. But when has college football ever been legal?
That's true.
It's
Do you
just the world you live in, man. It's
do you
hard.
think it's a coincidence that it happened after the first practice?
I do. I think he probably had in his mind that he was gonna look around, and then a team, teams like I said, probably reached out to him tentatively, just maybe threw a word out there to an uncle, a parent, a sibling, something like that, and said, "Hey,
Right.
would he be interested in this?" They talked to him. That's usually how it goes. Um, I don't think it had anything to do with being the first practice. I don't think I think he knew who Eric Morris was and who this staff
Right.
was 2 months ago or a month ago. Um, it might have been, and I'll continue to theorize. This is not concrete, but if Gums was thinking about doing it more, so maybe one of the coaching staff was like, "All right, if you're gonna do it, just do it." You know what I mean? Like you don't have to go through spring. We don't need to go through this dance if you're going to transfer,
Yeah.
in March. We can get other people involved. We can go look at our options. If you want to do it, just do it. Um, and to that, I would have said, why didn't Gumps enter the portal earlier in the first window? I don't know. We don't have details on that, but it is an interesting situation because, like, if you look at his Twitter, we've talked about this. If you look at everything, I think he went on Sonoy's show like a month ago.
Yeah. And he's like liking all the tweets from the
There was no
team.
sign of this being a long, drawn out like a decision that he had on his mind for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 months.
Yeah.
So that's what makes this weird to me. Is that same for you?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's the weird timing. Like we came on this podcast, multiple podcasts that were not close together, being like, this guy's gonna be a dude. And
Yeah,
then, like right after yesterday, boom, he's gone. Um, what do you think the chances are that he does come back like Katie?
low.
Yeah. I would agree.
There's
I,
no
I, I
reason
just
he should have the KD thing was over the summer too. Let's remember that.
yeah, that's
Right?
true.
Like that
That
was
is
like
true.
early summer.
Yeah,
He went through spring and he knew who was on
that
the
is
team. He knew
that
the
is
coaching
true.
staff. This one, Gums is leaving again. There was a 2-month span where Gums was locked in. There was no hesitation of like where he was. He was at North Texas. And then something happened and he entered the portal. No idea what it could have been, what it was. Again, was it tampering? Maybe. But like there's just like too many unknowns right now to speculate. And I just don't think if you enter the portal at this point and not wait until May, either he had, a huge incident that changed his perception of everything, or he's like, nah, I got a bag waiting for me over there. I
Yeah,
go get it. Like it's just I don't think he'll come back. But so it does put them in a precarious situation at tight end. Offensively, I'm not going to say that it's a huge blow because they have 6 months to figure it out and some time to get a tight end if they need one. But it is worth doing a podcast on because we just released a podcast that said he was going to be really good.
yeah, possibly better than a lot of the receivers. So
Yeah, we threw around like what 45 receptions, like 40
yeah,
receptions, 45
yeah,
receptions,
yeah,
like 600 yards or something like that. That's the level of tight end we thought was going to be there, and it's not there anymore. So things just got a little bit harder for Eric Morris and this offensive staff. I, like I said, I don't think this changes the complete outlook of this offense, but it does tweak things. When you're looking at the best players on this offense, Var'Keyes Gumms was on it,
for sure.
and that's going
Absolutely.
to change. So,
Yep.
anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll see where Gums decides to go. I'm sure there's plenty of suitors for him once the portal officially open. Once he officially enters the portal, and once teams officially reach out to him. Not that they haven't already been doing that, but we'll see how that goes. We thank y'all for joining us. Quick 12-minute podcast. Wanted to get in, get out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the Republic of Football podcast feed if you haven't already. If you missed our last podcast and you're like, damn, what are they talking about? I didn't see the podcast yesterday. Go to the Republic of Football podcast feed. You'll see Green Room Podcast on there. Or you can go follow us on Twitter, Green Room UNT. We tweet out all of the links and everything you need. So check that out as well. So we thank y'all for joining us, and we will talk to y'all later.